And now, folks, it is time that we shall go and cap this episode off with
What?
the
What?
grand finale. Oh, sorry, I had a little audio thing going on.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you heard it on your end.
It was just
sorry.
silence for me.
Yeah, I understand if it was weird for you. Wait, what's going on? Okay, no, I just didn't connect my soundboard onto Discord. That's why. I wish I know how to do that, though. That would actually be awesome. But anyways, for this grand finale, we will be discussing one of the biggest highlights at this year's Annecy International Animation Film Festival. And while there have been a lot of reactions that have been revealed, like companies coming in where they would show clips of their upcoming shows and movies, and they would get a bunch of applause for it, we haven't heard anything in terms of big announcements. With the exception of this one, however, this company decided to step in and say, let me show you everything that we have in store. And we are going to be going into this one by one, by the way, with all the announcements from Cartoon Network. And yeah, it's honestly unexpected that Cartoon Network decided to step in and release a big list of what they will have in store for the channel. What was your first reaction when you saw all this news?
I was very shocked, especially with how much we've been ragging on, Warner Brothers in general, in the past couple of years.
Of course.
So there was there was a lot of doubt as far as the direction of what was going to be happening to Cartoon Network. As far as their shows and their projects and everything. So it was a bit refreshing to see oh yeah, there's stuff being worked on then. So cool.
Yeah, it looks like they're actually busy. Now they revealed what's been going on. Honestly, for me, it feels similar to how I felt last week with Sony Animation. I just felt like they've been silent for so long. We don't know any other projects that they were working on other than Spider-Verse, and then suddenly all the Netflix stuff has been revealed with the K-pop Demon Hunter movie, with Motel Transylvania, and with the Ghostbuster series. So it's like, oh, okay, you are doing things. Okay, just making sure. But anyways, let's actually get into these announcements, by the way. Reading from my source here on Variety, the first thing that they have revealed is Foster's Fun Time for Imaginary Friends, the preschool series based on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, in which Craig McCracken, the creator of the original show, will be coming back for this one, and even mention that McCracken has promised the same fast pace, but a fun, simpler structure and less cynical humor. And on top of that, only Blue and Madame Foster return. And even showing a little image of what will be in store with this prequel series, which looks like might have mixed media elements or mixed animation styles, where we got some characters that are CG and some that are 2D. So, yeah, with this one, what do you think about the return of Foster's, but as a preschool show?
I'm a bit mixed to it. I do like that. Apparently McCracken is still attached to the series, so that's promising.
Mhm.
And as far as the mixed media stuff, I do really like that. Considering it's all about imaginary friends, and of course imaginary friends would be made of different things. So they're kind of doing a gumball approach to the way it's gonna look. So yeah, I am very curious as to how they're going to do that, because they haven't really done that many preschool shows. I know they recently did Jessica's Little Big World. I haven't watched any of that, but that's the spinoff of Craig at the Creek.
Oh, right, that one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that one got canceled. There was only a season or two of it. I don't know if it was just one season. But I haven't watched it, so I don't know what it's like. So I'm very interested to see what like this and something else that we'll talk about later, um,
Yeah.
is going to be like as far as like a preschool show goes.
Yeah, it's true. It's like I know that Cartoon Network has started with Cartoonito, that they want to go one by one into like getting into the preschool market and stuff like that. And the start didn't go great, but now like it looks like they got a new plan for it and try to be more serious with what they'll have in store with the preschool stuff.
Yeah.
All right, but then our next one, oh, this is your time to shine, Paleo,
Yeah.
because the next one we have is Adventure Time Side Quests, where they promise that with side quests, they will be going back to making this a more family-friendly show instead of Fiona and Cake, which that one was a little bit more adult-oriented. And this one, it looks like based on the description that it's going to be a preschool, not preschool, but a prequel series where we are going to be looking into the earlier adventures of characters like Finn and Jake, as well as some others, including the Ice King. And on top of that, one of the creative heads of Adventure Time, or at least for some of the seasons, Nate Cash, is going to be coming in as the creator of this series. So, what do you think about side quests?
I'm always up for more Adventure Time. Like, I love the world and the characters. They're just like characters that I kind of like want to hang out with. That's part of the appeal for Adventure Time for me. And also just like the world in general, the Land of Oo is like it's a very much like a sandbox world. It's very inspired by like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, and that was like, like a direct influence on the series and how it kind of played out throughout its run, as far as like making these different adventures for the characters. um and I'm very excited to see this. This is going to be like definitely a more episodic series compared to Adventure Time. It's sort of more like the first two seasons, because the first two seasons were very episodic.
Right.
And even later seasons, like, they still had episodic episodes, and they were very, very fun. Like, one of my favorite episodes is just like a random episode where Finn stumbles upon a dungeon where he cannot open his eyes. It's called the Hall of Egress. And like he just stumbles upon that dungeon and just he can't open his eyes, and or has to restart the dungeon. Um, but they can do like a lot of really cool stuff. Going back to the world. Making a prequel series kind of makes sense because we kind of like already know all these different narrative threads that they'll go through. Um, and just having a lot more fun with like the different adventures they've gone on. Um, and I honestly like Adventure Time is one of those shows where like I know people kind of like, moan about like everything becoming a franchise and everything like that. But for me, for Adventure Time, I'll take everything I can get. Because I love the show so much. Um, so I'm excited for this and also the other things they're gonna be revealing here.
Of course. And moving right along, another major project that they have revealed is going to be the return of Regular Show. Now, we don't necessarily know what's going to be going on with it, but other than the fact that, and it even mentions that we don't know if it's going to be like a sequel series or a spin-off or anything like that. They even mentioned that we don't know if Mordecai and Rigby will be returning, but what we do know is that J.G. Quintel, the original creator of Regular Show, is going to be coming back to work on this series in particular. So, what direction could they go with Regular Show? Because I know that with that one, with its finale, they kind of wrapped everything up like very tightly.
Yeah, there's like an epilogue montage and everything, so I'm not sure what they would do.
Yeah, like would they legitimately do a sequel series, or do you think it's going to be a spin-off looking into one of the specific characters? Like what do you think the direction could go?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure if they would do the same thing like they're doing with Adventure Time, where it's like sort of like a prequel thing where like we might see, I don't know, like Mordecai and Rigby in college or something. Um, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, like honestly, like it's one of those where like it sounds cool at first, but the more you think about it, the more it's like, what can you do? Because it feels like the show managed to do everything it wanted to create, and then like wrap things up with like you mentioned, that epilogue montage where we see their life afterwards, like several decades even after the
Yeah,
events of the finale. So like
where
where can you go with this?
yeah, it's very different from like Adventure Time because like with Adventure Time, the world itself is a character,
Mm-hmm.
and like the world itself is like like I said, it's very limitless. With that world they created, they can just like make any kind of weird kingdom or like dungeon or whatever, and just like have an episode about that. Um, But with the regular show, it's like, a bit more grounded in reality. It's funny to say that because like regular show like goes off the rails like with every episode.
Oh yeah.
Um, uh, but man, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe JJ Quintel has an idea, so since he's attached to it, so
Yeah, the best that we could do is just trust him that he'll find a way to create something. I mean, so far with what he's already done with regular show and with Close Enough, like they have been proven to be very strong. So hopefully he will create another banger with this one.
yeah.
And then following up, there is also like this big list talking about some of the other projects that they would go and present, in which they would show little clips of what's going to be coming up with the 400th episode of Teen Titans Go, which apparently is going to be stop motion. There's one clip they've presented from Gremlins: The Wild Batch, and even showing a fight scene for an upcoming anime series called Invincible Fight Girl. They've also mentioned that there's going to be a spin-off to Merry Little Batman called Bat Family, and
Oh, cool.
even talked about a little bit of a surprise comeback of the amazing world of Gumball. Now, they didn't mention anything if this is going to be the long-awaited Gumball movie or maybe another Gumball series, but that's going to be
They
something we...
did mention recently. There was in another article that happened recently where they are making another season.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
yeah, that they're continuing, like, where they left off from the last season. So,
Oh, okay. So, okay, yeah, yeah. Even someone mentioned it's like, okay, so they'll actually resolve that cliffhanger that they had.
yeah.
Okay, and then next up, they did talk about a lot of the DC stuff that they have in store, more so than just Bat Family. Apparently, they mentioned that there's going to be a Watchmen series that will be coming up, and even showing a little bit of a clip for the upcoming Batman Cape Crusader, which is going to be the series that will be brought to us by Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves. And on top of that, they also showed a little bit of a clip from the upcoming anime movie Lord of the Rings: The War of Rohirrim, in which that one was also highly praised at Annecy, about as much as The Wild Robot. So already people are very much excited for that one.
It's so crazy that we're getting a Lord of the Rings anime.
I know. It's like, yeah, an animated movie, that's one thing, but a Lord of the Rings anime, it feels, that almost looks like it's going into like Mad Lib territory, but based
Yeah.
on based on the reactions, it looks like it might be legitimately worthwhile. But okay, but anyways, yeah, and I do see in the chat wall someone did mention that there is also, speaking of DC, there's also going to be a Blue Beetle animated series that they are going to
Oh.
do as well. I think like they've also, like, it hasn't been mentioned in this article here, but they did mention that there are some things that they did show at Annecy that is going to have a bit of a connection with the upcoming DC universe that James Gunn is creating. I think like they showed it was the Blue Beetle series and Creature Commandos that they have presented and showed little clips as well. And oh yes, I might as well go and mention this as well. A lot of people in the chat want me to bring this up also, but there is the at this year's Annecy, there was the big premiere of the 2D animated Looney Tunes movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up, and apparently that again was very well received at Annecy, and hopefully we will be able to see that soon. And they promise that they're going to be
on the big screen.
Yeah, they promise that it will be in theaters, so we'll see about that. But anyways, going back to some of these announcements on Variety, they've also mentioned there's going to be a brand new Scooby-Doo series. But speaking of animes, this too will also be an anime called Go Go Mystery Machine, in which Shaggy and Scooby, they went to Japan and suddenly a bunch of monsters and spirits have emerged. And from there, they decided to enlist the help of Scooby-Doo's Japanese uncle, Daisuke-Doo, and a magical buddy they have called Etsuko, and a gadget whiz named Toshiro. And that's also going to be something that they will have coming soon at Annecy. And then we have another Adventure Time series, this time the preschool series called Adventure Time Hey BMO. So, Paleo, can you take this one from here?
Yeah, so yeah, Heyo BMO, that's gonna be, it makes sense to make a preschool series out of BMO, because BMO is, like, a very innocent, like, childlike character, and it's funny, because, like, when I saw, like, the title card they had for this, by Crispy Boat, the artist that made it, I thought it was fan art, because, like, I follow the artist that makes, like, makes all these, like, claymation, like, 3D things that look very good. And I thought it was fan art at first, and then I looked into the article and everything. I was like, oh wait, this is a thing that's happening, and that's how I found out about everything else. But yeah, Heyo BMO, it makes sense, and I do have confidence in this as well. Along with side quests and the other things. But because Adam Muto is running as the talent behind this, and one of the storyboard artists from Distant Lands as well. So I think they'll do it well. I think that they'll probably have it feel like the most eccentric episodes of Adventure Time, which already kind of feel like a preschool show almost. Not quite, because like there are some like dark humor moments in some of the BMO episodes, and like very weird humor there. But I'm interested to see. I mean, I'm gonna watch like all the Adventure Time stuff, of course. So,
all right, awesome. But anyways, going back onto our list that we have here, so they've also revealed that there's going to be another preschool series, but this time it's going to be based on the novel Barbara Throws a Wobbler, or at least based on the picture books of it, in which it will, one of the creative leads of it will include Horvis Van Holzer, who is the 2D animation director of Gumball. And then there is, probably your biggest announcement. Do you want to save that one for last?
Yeah.
Or okay, we'll save that one for last then.
Yeah, we'll save it for last.
Yeah, and then following afterwards, we do have a new show called, or a movie actually, is called Bad Karma, which is going to be an Indian-inspired fantasy mythological world, in which it will feature a young demon princess named Chandra and the legendary demigod Hanuman, in which the creators of this movie will include Sanjay Patel, the guy who created the Pixar short Sanjay Super Team, Rajesh Devraj, who is the writer of Arjun the Warrior Prince, Vikash Shankar, and Katie Price.
I still need to watch Arjun. Like I've had that recommended to me a lot before.
Oh, really?
And then yeah, and I just want to point out this typo here on the article. It says, instead of director of Oscar nominated, it says dictator of Oscar nominated.
Oh yeah. Why? What is that? What is this wording? The dictator of the Oscar nominated. It's like, I don't know. That seems like an intimidating position. It's like what did you do? Oh, did you direct this series? No, I dictated it. Yeah, that's just weird wording from Variety right there. And then there's also a new series called Lovey Dovey, in which it will be brought to us by one of the writers of Harley Quinn, Ava Tramer, in which it says that it is about a romantic wedding dove in search of his one true love, getting stuck with a bunch of streetwise pigeons whose only goal is to screw the large bird from a popular kids' TV show. All right, so
I
moving.
want to know what that bird looks like.
Yeah, that is true because it really sounds like these pigeons, they just have a serious vendetta over Big Bird. Oh boy. But anyways, there are a few more announcements that we will go and mention. But there is also the Adult Swim announcements as well, to which they revealed some new shows that are going to be coming, including Ha Ha Clowns and Oh My God, Yes, a series of extremely relatable
Uh-oh.
circumstances. On top.
Wait, you paused for me for a moment.
Oh, did I? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm just checking the stream to make sure everything's okay.
Nah, it should be fine. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's Ha Ha Clowns and a series of extremely relatable circumstances. And they have confirmed that there will indeed be a season 3 of Smiling Friends. But the biggest announcement from that Adult Swim panel is actually a brand new Gendy Tartakovsky series called Heist Safari, which is going to be a comedic robbery in which he says will feel like a musical. Paleo, do you want to express your thoughts on this one?
That's very interesting because that's one thing I actually didn't know that was announced from Annecy. And I still need to watch like Unicorn Warriors Eternal. I've only seen like the first couple episodes of that.
Mm-hmm. Did they announce a season 2 for that yet, or like nothing else?
I don't know. I don't know if they did or not.
Yeah, because I know like people went crazy for it when that first came out, but then it's like it happened, but then suddenly like people quickly moved on.
Yeah, it sounds like there's gonna be like a lot of like anthropomorphic characters in here. Because it says like there's like 3 like frogs, and there's gonna be like a Russian mafia hippo, and an Italian gorilla mobster. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. No, it does sound intriguing. And I mean, when Gendy Tartakovsky, when he makes something new for a show, like that's the time when we need to pay attention to it. And especially after what he recently did with Primal, like honestly, I'm on board to know like what he has in store, like especially if it's going to be with Adult Swim. So this could definitely have a lot of potential. So with that said, the time has come that we discuss about probably your biggest announcement, and that is going to be the Adventure Time movie. The fact that we don't know what's going to be happening in there, other than the fact that Jake and Finn are going to be in a big adventure, but we have a confirmation that not only Adam Muto, but also Rebecca Sugar and Patrick McHale will be part of this movie. So, Pilio, would you like to go and discuss about this?
Yeah, so I remember back in, it was like 2015, I believe, when they announced it, like, oh yeah, we're going to be doing an Adventure Time movie, and like the miniseries Stakes, which, the only one of those came out. But like, I think like after Adventure Time ended, I think Cartoon Network was kind of hungry for like, wait, but we kind of want more, because like Adventure Time was one of their most successful shows. Their most successful shows being like, Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd and Eddy. Those were like huge hits for them. And then Adventure Time came along, and sort of like started that kind of renaissance in the 2010s for Cartoon Network. And even before then, there was like Chowder and Flapjack that kind of like kickstarted a lot of that creative talent. Where with the Adventure Time movie, I don't know if it'll be like theatrical or not. I have a feeling it won't be, but even so, I'm super excited to see something like full length, because like even though with Distant Lands, like I love the Distant Lands specials, they're all very good, but they're still like held to that like that 44-minute like time frame, where this is going to be like a full length movie. And I do have a lot of confidence in it, since Adam Muto, Patrick McHale, and Rebecca Sugar are all attached to it, and they have been with Adventure Time like pretty much almost since the beginning. Uh, and like I said, I'm always up for more Adventure Time, and I've always wanted them to do some kind of movie. Um, if anything, the movie that they would have had before probably would have had been something like Together Again, which was the one of the Distant Land specials that was focused on Finn and Jake. But that might have been a little too dark because if you've seen Together Again, you know that like Together Again is like, oh yeah, Finn and Jake are dead, like in the beginning, and they have to like yeah, they meet each other in like the land of the dead. That would have been like a very dark movie if they did something full feature length like that.
Oh yeah.
Um, but for this, like, this seems like it'll be like something either something in the middle of like the Adventure Time like timeline or a little bit after the show ended or something like that. Um, so I'm trying to guess of like what they're going to try to do, but with the talent they have attached to it, I have confidence that they'll make something good. And I'm glad Rebecca Sugar is coming back because that means there's going to be a lot of great songs in the movie.
Oh, that's
So
true.
yeah,
Yeah, I'll even admit, like, when I watched the Steven Universe movie, like, I haven't seen, like, much episodes before, but, like, that soundtrack was phenomenal. Like, if we could
yeah,
get that caliber of a soundtrack onto the Adventure Time movie, I think we're gonna have something that, like, that alone feels like it's gonna be really worthwhile. And this is coming from someone who's not as familiar with Adventure Time as much as you would be. But already, like, even for
mm,
me, I feel like the like just the fact that we do have like not just the veterans like Adamuto, but like even Patrick McHale and Rebecca Sugar, like
yeah,
that, even that gives me confidence, especially with Patrick McHale. Like we've seen like what he could do creatively, like with Over the Garden Wall, which was amazing. Not to mention how he was also a writer for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and that thing was like phenomenal. So
yeah.
again, like already we're having a combination of talents. Like they've previously worked on Adventure Time, and if they could bring that kind of talent to the Adventure Time movie, this could be like I think this might be something that like we'll need to really keep an eye out for both fans and non-fans. I think this might be something like truly special.
Yeah, and they're still doing like season 2 of Fiona and Cake, so like there's there's a lot of Adventure Time content like coming. And I didn't think we would have like that much more after the show ended. Um,
Oh yeah. Like it
yeah,
really spawned like it really branched off into its own thing. Like it spreaded like wildfire. Like after Adventure Time,
yeah,
suddenly like you would get Fiona and Cake, and then suddenly now we're getting the side quests and Hey BMO, and now we're getting a whole movie. So now, so yeah,
yeah.
like like oddly enough, it's taking the SpongeBob route, but so far it looks like it's doing better than SpongeBob on that
Well,
route.
yeah, like I said, the world of Adventure Time and the characters, like they're so expansive. And like there's so many different things that you can do with that world and not to mention there's different like timelines, different alternate realities within Adventure Time. It's like so many different things that you can expand off of. Like I said, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. That's like literally inspiration and like, you know, even if you look at the logo, it's like it's very Dungeons and Dragons inspired
Oh
with how
yeah.
the logo looks. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Now, we're just going to go onto a quick break, mainly because I want to reset the ad so that like we're not suddenly interrupted by that. And when we do return, I want to go and ask you all in the chat, what do you all think about these announcements? You could take the time to go and write them down and express which ones are you the most excited for. So let's go and have our break, reset the timer for the ads, and we'll be back for that. All right, so now let's see what the chat wall has to say with all these announcements. Since we can't talk about Sony buying Alamo Drafthouse or Sherry Redstone rejecting the Skydance deal, which I'm still furious about right now, I'm surprised we heard some big news from Cartoon Network about some upcoming projects. Only a new series of regular show that I'm excited about the most, and I am a die-hard fan of the show, but the rest, like Adventure Time and Foster's Home, I'll give it a pass, including the latter as it targets more preschoolers. Looks promising so far from Cartoon Network. Yeah, I just want to go and say right now, I know the week has just been completely crazy with all the different news that came out, including the ones that I have not even discussed about yet, you know, or the ones that I didn't even mention, with Sony Pictures buying Alamo Drafthouse, which makes it the first time in decades that a movie studio actually purchased a theater chain. Or, of course,
70-something years or something, right?
Yep, definitely. And then there's also, well, the Skydance deal being completely rejected, and Paramount is back to being on the drawing board, so their future is still questionable at this point. But then again, with what's been revealed, what happened behind the scenes, like with the possibility of like Paramount being broken into pieces so that Warner Brothers could have the television stuff, and that John Lasseter's health is allegedly going pretty bad, where it became a problematic factor on the deal. Like, yeah, it's just that whole thing has been a mess. Oh boy. All the announcements from Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers Animation looks great. Go-Go Mystery Machine is another Scooby-Doo series, but now traveling to Japan in anime style. Gendy, I'm still waiting for Fixed, man. Also, I'm wondering what happened to the Powerpuff Girls reboot from Craig McCracken that is now in development. By the way, happy Eid Mubarak for everyone who is celebrating it. Or Eid Mubarak, sorry. Mispronounced it there. But yeah, honestly, with the Powerpuff Girls one, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Like, for now, we have the Foster's preschool series, so maybe after that, then we'll be hearing more about the Powerpuff Girls reboot. Anyways, there are so many announcements that wouldn't fit in this chat wall. That regular show spinoff and that Adventure Time movie does sound like a good idea from Cartoon Network's side. Hearing good word about the Wild Robot, but the most exciting reveal was definitely The Day the Earth Blew Up. That animation looks spectacular and the voice acting is great. Please, people, don't sleep on this. I know this will be amazing based on reports on the festival. All right, let's see, what other comments do we have? Not meaning to sound negative, but I do think it's a little repetitive that Cartoon Network's new plan is just to revive shows from the 2010s. But I would lie that none of them didn't caught my attention. Like Looney Tunes, Batman, and other DC products were expected, but also the most excited for. Others like Gumball, Scooby-Doo, and a few others do seem anticipating to see what they could be. And for the movies, do bring some excitement. I can't wait for them. All right, let's see what we got here. This is a great week for animation. Inside Out 2 dominating the box office, and The Day the Earth Blew Up having its first showing. So glad that movie was not written off as a tax write-off. I can't wait to see the new Scooby-Doo series as a Scooby-Doo fan myself. Also, have you heard Lionsgate picked up the distribution rights for Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis? Yes, we actually just talked about that. And
yeah, we talked about that during a break.
Yeah, and that's going to be coming out this September, so we'll see what happens, and we will see if that same madness that we've heard from cons is going to be in there. I want to know if we're going to have an actor in each cinema to do that little thing. We'll see how that goes. Let's see now. I think we'll read one more comment and then we can cap this one off. I'm really happy with these announcements at Annecy. For me, I'm really excited for the continuation of the amazing world of Gumball, seeing regular show come back, and especially the Adventure Time movie. I can understand why they want to continue Adventure Time, considering it's the show that started Cartoon Network's comeback in the 2010s. However, considering this is WB, I'm just hoping that David Zaslav won't be Satan and just scrap these projects altogether. Yeah, we can only just hope. What can I say?